At this time, let me say welcome to all of you again. And so we're going to have our senior minister, and this is somebody else that I admire as well, Reverend Marlin Lavanhar, to come forward and give us the rest of our announcements. Thank you.
Love you. Thank you, Dorothy. Is this working? Yeah. Well, I want to welcome the class of 1967 Booker T. Washington High School. Great to have you with us. What a blessing. What a blessing. Thank you. Wow. So I was trying to think. 1967. I looked it up so I could see a little bit about what was going on in 1960. I was born in 1968, so I wasn't even born yet. So I wasn't even a twinkle in my mama's eye at that point. But so I wanted to see what was going on in 1967, and I learned that there were only cordless phones back then. Every phone was attached to the wall, and most TVs were black and white, and there was no such thing as cable television, or the internet, or personal computers, or cell phones, smartphones. I don't know how you all lived. I don't know what you did. Most cars ran on regular gasoline at 33 cents a gallon. Minimum wage was $1.40. Now, it would be 5 more years before the invention of the first video game. Remember what that was? Pong. Remember Pong? It was like two little rectangles and a ball bouncing between them. That's what they called a video game. But that was not till 1972. So, again, I don't know what you did with all your time back then. They didn't even have a digital LED watch yet in 1967. Churches used mimeograph machines to copy the orders of service and the programs. But the Vietnam War was in full swing in 1967. We think we're divided now, which we are, but man, in 1967, there must have been a great sense of division in this country. Jimi Hendrix put out his first album, Are You Experienced? Martin Luther King Jr. denounced the Vietnam War during a religious service at Riverside Church in New York City. In Houston, Muhammad Ali refused military service and was later stripped of his boxing heavyweight championship title. Elvis Presley and Priscilla were married that year. On May 2nd, 1967, armed members of the Black Panther Party entered the California state capitol to protest a bill that restricted the carrying of arms in public. Major race riots broke out across the country. We see there's a movie now about Detroit, but it was happening in Cleveland, it happened in Minneapolis, in Newark, in Washington, D.C., and other major cities across the country. John McCain's plane was shot down over North Vietnam, and he became a prisoner of war. Mildred Jeter and Richard Loving, an interracial couple from Virginia that were married in the late 1950s, having been married at that point 10 years, went back to their home state of Virginia and were quickly arrested and put in jail for breaking the laws of interracial marriage. The Lovings, of course, sued the state of Virginia and argued that the ban violated the 14th Amendment. In June of 1967, the Supreme Court ruled 6-3 the decision that states banning interracial marriage was unconstitutional, and from that day forward, it was legal for folks to get married across racial lines. A few months later, Thurgood Marshall is confirmed as the first African-American justice of the Supreme Court. You can applaud that. Tulsa public schools remained officially segregated in 1967, even though other school districts across the country, many, had already integrated. Booker T. Washington High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma was already one of the best premier high schools in the United States. And I want to be clear, it wasn't one of the best African-American high schools, it was one of the best high schools across the United States and was known as such. And the graduating class, they graduated a class of 319 students. Wow. Some of whom are with us today. The graduating class went on to bring this city and this country ever closer to the American dream for all people. We still have our work to do. Events from Ferguson to Charleston to Charlottesville all remind us that we still have a ways to go. The work continues. Terrence Crutcher and Eric Harris here in Tulsa remind us. The lack of grocery stores still in the northern districts of Tulsa remind us. The story of Tulsa's dilapidated public schools and crumbling schools while we have high-tech and beautiful prisons. See, we need to have high-tech and beautiful schools rather than prisons in Oklahoma. We are not where we want to be, but we're not where we used to be. It's not Good Friday in Tulsa anymore, but it sure isn't Easter Sunday either. We're in a Saturday. We're in between, in the Saturday kind of moment. And we're either going to work together as a city across all of our differences and move us towards the sunrise of Sunday, or we're going to fall apart back towards Good Friday over and over and over again. So let us continue to work together, come together, make this a great city. We have the promise of this class from Booker T. Washington, 1967, a tremendous year in the life of this country and this nation. So much has happened because of the leadership of these people here and so many across our country. We are so proud to have you with us. It is a great blessing. God bless you, and God bless this community, and God bless this country. Thank you. Welcome.